I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the no half-step in hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're good and educated about the show, then you can click on that merchandise tab. It's going to take you straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, and all of our special event t-shirts, which we have many, I'll admit. Also, all the gimmicks you've come to know and love from the Renegades of Puck: socks, wall art, throw pillows, bed sets. Yes, you can outfit your entire body or your entire home with Renegades of Puck merchandise. We sure would appreciate it if you would actually go ahead and do that. Stick taps love and respect to anybody willing to do that level of no half-stepping. We've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation, so listen up. This is how you can help us out. Doesn't take you but a second, doesn't cost you a thing, but you can give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription on some of the following platforms. We are on social media on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, and we are also still on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitch, and in audio format for the podcast, you can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and several others. Just search Renegades of Puck on your preferred platform. Now, we sure to appreciate each and every one of you for supporting us, and we sure to appreciate all of those recent subscribers. We have certainly noticed, and we sure do appreciate each and every one of you. Venmo, that's how you can become a sponsor of the show. Just go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you, we have been able to upgrade significantly everything here in the bunker, from the microphone to the camera to the computer itself, and we have ambitions for all skates and so many other events coming up. I know we always have more plans coming up, so anything you can do to help us out, even $1 goes a long way, and every single penny goes to helping this independent hockey operation here and our plans. So thank you so much. We could not do this without your support. Home base freakout. The planning is well underway. We're under 3 weeks to go now. Tailgate Brewery, you know that. Music Row, you also knew that. Special guests, VIPs, we'll be announcing those things as we move along. We cannot wait to have each and every one of you out there. Listen, it's going to be all ages, no cover. We're opening the doors, and we're celebrating the great game of hockey. We love it. We love being around it, and we certainly need nights like this at Tailgate Brewery where we can get away from the rink and have a little bit of fun and all get together, glad hand, and have a good time and have some of those special conversations. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you out there. Please, it is going to become our biggest and annual celebration of all things great about our hockey community. So bring all those no half-step and positive vibes to Tailgate Brewery on Music Row for Home Base Freakout 2. I'm so pumped about it. I cannot wait. Already sending out the invitation, starting to hear back from people. So really, really excited about everything going on with the upcoming Home Base Freakout. We know how to throw a party here in the trenches. Now, I know it's time for the no half-step in hockey coverage. Easy. Let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 725. That's right, show number 725 for the Renegades of Puck. And at this exact moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division after 61 games skated. They have 31 wins, 23 losses, 7 overtime losses. That is good for 69 points overall. In division on the road, they have a record of 15, 12, and 4. They have goals for is 178, goals against is 180, so the goal differential is -2. Now, we'll recap the entire division standings here in a moment, but the Arizona Coyotes and the Predators' next opponent on the road will be also in the Central Division, so let's talk about their record. 63 games skated, 21, 32, and 10, 52 points. And on the season on home ice, a respectable record of 14, 11, and 3. They've scored 171 goals on this season. They've given up 227. Goal differential, -56, but that's not the worst in the division. The Blackhawks have a worse goal differential than that, and they're also worse overall in the standings. Taking a look top down, and we'll also include the wild card standings in this. The Dallas Stars continue to lead the Central Division with 81 points. They've skated 64 games. Minnesota Wild skated in 63 games, have 78 points. The Winnipeg Jets have skated 64 games and have 75 points. They are 6 points ahead of the Nashville Predators, and they have the last automatic qualifying playoff spot in the Central Division. So the Preds are chasing the Winnipeg Jets at this time, 6 points behind. Colorado Avalanche sit in 4th place, 61 games skated, and they are 5 points ahead of the Nashville Predators with 74. And then the Preds are in 5th place, 61 games skated, and they have 69 points. So the Nashville Predators currently sit 6 points out of the 3rd place, which is an automatic qualifying spot for the playoffs in the Central Division. And in the wild card race, the Nashville Predators currently sit 5 points out. They are chasing the Colorado Avalanche, who are the team just above them in 4th place in the standings in the Central. They are tied in points with the Calgary Flames, but the Preds have skated in less games, so they have games in hand over Calgary. So the wild card reads Edmonton, Colorado, and then Nashville, 5 points behind the Colorado Avalanche. For the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche, this is the 4th and final meeting of the season between these two Central Division rivals. It was all the way back on November the 21st when the Nashville Predators scored a 4-3 victory in a shootout. Then it was UC Saros going 24 out of 27. The captain Romeo, a goal, and assistant Matt Duchene also chipping in with a goal. Then we move all the way to February the 13th. They wouldn't play for almost 3 months, where the Arizona Coyotes would defeat the Nashville Predators at Bridgestone Arena. It would be 4-2. Krause 2 goals. Yossi would score a goal again for the Nashville Predators. Lankinen would take the loss. Light workload, but still took the loss, 15 out of 18. Their most recent head-to-head matchup came on February the 26th when the Nashville Predators made their first trip out to Arizona, scored the 6-2 victory in the new, very, very home rink. Yossi, 2 goals and assists for 3 points. Duchene, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. And Tommy Novak, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. The Nashville Predators came up big in that game right there. And if they want to continue on in the playoff race, they'll need to continue picking up points against teams below them in the standings. So far, the Nashville Predators are doing quite well on this very extensive road trip. How extensive is it? Well, it continues on after Arizona and continues on for 2 more games back-to-back coming up Saturday and Sunday. So prepare for a late night Saturday in L.A. and then Anaheim. Not quite as late a start, but still prepare for a late night on Sunday. Then the Nashville Predators finally come back home to Tennessee to face off against the Detroit Red Wings. That's going to be next Tuesday. The 16th of March, the Preds will welcome in Chicago, and then the 18th of March, the Preds will welcome in the Winnipeg Jets. Now, the Arizona Coyotes, Nashville Predators' next opponent. I've given you their record. I've given you their goal differential. I've also given you their home record, but let's talk about their most recent stretch of hockey. Let's go back 5 complete games, and they also have 1 game to be played before facing off against the Preds. Back on February the 26th, of the 6-2 loss versus the Nashville Predators for your frame of reference. Then Fife followed that up on the 28th with a 4-1 win versus Chicago. On the 1st of March, a 4-2 loss at Dallas, then a 6-1 loss versus Carolina, and then most recently a 5-4 overtime loss versus the New Jersey Devils. They will face off at home against the St. Louis Blues on Tuesday night before welcoming in the Nashville Predators on Thursday night. Now, before I get into the matchup and the rankings between these two teams, let me update you on the injury situation for the Nashville Predators because it is becoming quite numerous to keep up with. Philip Forsberg is still listed as day-to-day and is on the road trip. We still do not know when he's actually going to get back on the ice, but hopefully it's in this next game. Parsonen is also listed as day-to-day. Tomasino is listed as day-to-day. Carrier is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and Johansson, of course, is going to be out for the remainder of this season. So that takes care of the injury update. But for the Nashville Predators, they remain relatively healthy throughout the majority of the season, and as of late, though, they have been suffering injuries to a number of players. Now, I told you I was going to get into the rankings and the matchups between these two teams. In the goals for category, the Nashville Predators, 25th in the NHL, actually is the leader in this particular matchup, 2.87 per game, 25th overall, while the Arizona Coyotes, 2.67 per game, is 28th in the NHL. Goals against the Nashville Predators, 2.92 is 12th in the league. Goals against for the Coyotes is 3.56, that's 26th. In the shots for category, the Preds are generating 30.4 on net per game. That's 20th best in the league, while the Arizona Coyotes are last in the league, 32nd overall, 25.7 shots per game, 25.7. Nashville Predators, though, are giving up 33.4 per game, and that is 26th in the NHL, while the Coyotes are giving up 35.6 shots on net per game. That is 31st in the league, so anticipate a high shot volume if that statistical metric is to prove true. Power play, the Nashville Predators 24th in the league, 19.1%, while the Coyotes are at 18.5%, and that is 25th. Coyotes have converted 35 times at 189 opportunities. On the penalty kill, the Nashville Predators have had a a surge in the penalty kill rankings as of late, up to now 11th in the NHL, 81.5% kill rate. They've given up 38 power play goals on the season. That is considerably different than the Arizona Coyotes, who are rated 29th in the NHL on the penalty kill, 73.8% kill rate, but they have given up 61 power play goals against on the season. That is an incredible number. Now, these stats, when it comes to the statistical leaders on each team, now that we are free and clear of the trade deadline, I have altered the way I deliver to you the top 5 scores. I want to go with players that are currently on the roster. Even if they are out injured day to day, I'll include them, but if they have been traded and they are no longer a part of the roster, even though their statistics might fit into the top 5, I am dropping them off the list for now for the sake of the way we want to cover it going forward, because we are focusing on and talking about the new players with the Nashville Predators, the new youth with the Nashville Predators. So now that you've gotten the explanation on that, let me give you the top 5 scores and the goaltending stats for each team on the individual side of things. The captain, Roman Josi, 17 goals and 39 assists for 56 points, leads the Nashville Predators in scoring. Matt Duchene has 19 goals and 31 assists for 50 points. Philip Forsberg still out injured day to day, 19 goals and 23 assists for 42 points. Colton Sissons now at 11 goals and 13 assists for 24 points. And Glass, 8 goals and 16 assists for 24 points. In net, UC Saros is 24, 17, and 6, a 917 save percentage at 2.75 goals against average. Really impressive numbers for a team that has largely been in 5th or 6th place for the entirety of the season. Coyotes individual stats leaders, Keller, 25 goals, 35 assists, 60 points, and he typically has very good games against the Nashville Predators. Schmaltz, 19 and 24 for 43. Krause, who's already scored a couple of goals against the Preds this year, 20 goals on the season, 13 assists, 33 points. Michelli's also done quite well against the Preds on the season. 5 goals, 26 assists for 31 points. Hayton, 10 and 15 for 25. And in net, Connor Ingram, 5, 13 and 5, a 906 save percentage, 3.41 goals against average. I cherry-picked Connor Ingram because, well, Nashville Predators fans like the update. They like to know what he's up to. And I got to tell you, looking at that win-loss record and that goals against average, no, neither of those are stellar, but a 906 save percentage really jumps off the page at you for a team that is 21, 32, and 10 on the season. To have a 906 save percentage is quite impressive for Connor Ingram. He's more than likely going to get much more and significant time in the league to get opportunities to prove himself if he can put up those types of numbers. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators' last matchup against the Central Division rival Arizona Coyotes on the season. Preds looking to make a push in the wild card, looking to continue their success on this road trip. They'll have to go through Arizona. Successful last time they visited just recently on the 26th of February with a 6-2 victory. Can they duplicate? We'll find out if the new youth movement can continue this sudden surge in momentum.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to March 6th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way. Duchene, Novak, and Evangelista make up your first line. Asplund, Glass, and Leonard your second line. Trennan, Sissons, and Smith. Jankowski, McCarron, and Sherwood make up your fourth line. McCarron back from Milwaukee getting an opportunity back here with the Predators. Josi and Fabro, McDonough and Barry, Luzon and Foote make up your defensive pairings, and UC Saros gets the start in net. We are just 147 into the first period, and UC Saros comes up with a save on Miller. It's the first shot on goal of the game. At 2:43, it is Silos comes up with a save on Jankowski's tip. Nashville's first shot on goal. At 4:28, though, Pettersson's 30th goal of the season, which was a snipe off of the inside off of post, gives Vancouver a 1-0 lead in this game over the Nashville Predators. But at 4:55, the Nashville Predators respond. Colton Sissons has his 11th goal of the season. It was a rebound follow-up off of Cole Smith's shot that went off of the post. Putting that rebound in gives the Nashville Predators their first goal of the game, and it ties the game at 1 apiece. We are 5:16 into the first period. Miller is off to the box. 2 minutes for holding the stick. Seelops comes up with a huge save on Luke Evangelista, and then Seelops comes up with another save on Barry. But at 8:49, Seelops already back to work. Another save on Evangelista. At 10:56, though, Vancouver pulls back ahead with their second goal of the game. Podkozlin comes up with the low shot redirect just under the crossbars. His third goal of the season, Vancouver's second goal of the game. Vancouver now leads 2-1 of the first period. 12:14 of the first period. Saros comes up with a save on Bosser at 14:07. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Foot. 15:17. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Evangelista. 18:04. Foot off the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking. Strong PK by the Nashville Predators. Predators outshoot the Vancouver Canucks 10-8 in the first period, but have some work to do. At 56 seconds of the second period, Seeloffs comes up with a save on Barry through traffic at 3:19. Saros comes up with a save on Brisebois off of the glove after a turnover led to a real serious scramble for the Nashville Predators defense at 3:40 of the second period. Saros a save on Wolainen, and then at 4:20, Seeloffs a save on Evangelista. Novak setting the screen and bringing the jam on the rebound opportunity. 7:06, Saros now comes up with a save on Burrows. 7:17, Smith and Miller off the box, 5 minutes each. This was a quick and intense scrap after the whistle, and it was clear that Cole Smith wanted that fight and wanted every bit of it. That was an intense scrap. 7:22 of the second period. Evangelista hits the post. 9:53. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Yossi. 13:1. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Yossi. 14:55. Saros comes with a save on Brisebois. 15:31. Saros comes with a save on Joshua's backhand at the top of the crease. 16:16. Yossi Saros continues to do good work here. A save on Kravtsov. Then 16:40. Saros comes with a save on Kuzmenko. Seeloffs comes up with a save on McDonough at 17:51. And then to be Tyson Barrie off the box. 2 minutes for hooking at 19:51 of the second period. That power play is going to continue for 1:51 into the clean sheet of the third period. But before that, I'll tell you, the Nashville Predators are out shooting the Vancouver Canucks 22-17 in this game. Saros on the carryover of that power play to start the third period would come up with a huge save on Miller. Then at 3:12, Saros would come up with a save on Joshua. 5:28, Seeloffs would come up with a save on Barry from the sharp angle on the short side. 5:43 of the third would be Joshua. His ninth goal of the season comes from a low slot finish off of the rush. He slickly pulled the puck in and then put the puck into the net, threw everybody's timing off, and converts right here. Vancouver is up 3-1 now in the third period. 6:16 of the third period. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Asplund plus McCarron's follow-up and the jam. Flipping over to the backside of the sheet at 8:31 of the third period, and we find Luke Evangelista getting his first goal of his NHL career. It was a rebound follow-up of Sherwood's shot. It was absolutely incredible how he handled the bouncing puck right there to put his first ever goal into the net. Vancouver still leads 3-2, but Luke Evangelista has the moment of his career at this point. 9:21 of the third period. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Barry. 12:16. Nashville's got a penalty. Too many men on the ice. That's a bench minor. UC Saros has to come up with a save on Kuzmenko ×2 with the jam. 15:52 of the third period. Saros comes up with a save on Brisebois. 16:55 now of the third period. Evangelista comes up with his second goal of the period. Second goal of his career was a tip-in of Barry's heavy shot from near the top of the crease. Evangelista now 2 goals in the third period. The first 2 goals of his NHL career have now tied the game up at 3 apiece at 17:14 of the third period. Seeloffs comes up with a save on Fabro. 18-minute mark. Seeloffs another save on Sissons. That'll take us to the end of regulation with the Nashville Predators out shooting Vancouver 32-25. Each team securing a point. Let's find out who gets the extra. 25 seconds into the overtime period. Saros comes up with a save on Hughes. 56-second mark. Pettersson's backhand goes off of the post after hitting Saros in the shoulder. 3:17. Saros another save on Miller. 4:04. Saros a save on Kravtsov off of the rush. The Nashville Predators would not even generate a single shot on goal. UC Saros would protect that point through the overtime session. 32-29 is now your shots on goal for the game. Vancouver 4-0 in shots on goal in the overtime session. Pettersson would be the only conversion in the shootout, and it would give the Vancouver Canucks a 4-3 victory on home ice in the shootout. For the Nashville Predators, they really showed a lot of fight coming back in the third period. Luke Evangelista bringing some incredible new exuberance and energy and enthusiasm out there to the third period. A lot of fun to watch there as the Preds fought their way back and were able to pick up what could be a very critical point in the standings. Yes, you would have liked to have seen a victory, but down 2 goals in the third period, coming back and getting that point, that is impressive stuff considering the lineup and the lines that I just read off to you that are on this sheet. Not exactly your traditional Nashville Predators powerhouse A lineup, at least not this year. Going forward, though, there are some pieces that played in this game that are simply incredible. It was so great to watch Luke Evangelista score his first 2 goals. He is definitely more than just a promising prospect. I cannot wait to watch him down the stretch of this season, and I think more importantly, I cannot wait to watch him in the AHL playoffs back with the Milwaukee Admirals. I think he's going to be a critical component playing at the NHL speed and NHL level, and then going back to the AHL level for the playoffs. It's going to be significant for this Predators franchise. That does it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We've got tons of analysis coming up from this game. If you didn't make it all the way through last night, don't worry. We've got you covered. You gave me 10 minutes. I gave you the game. Give us a few more minutes. We'll give you the analysis. And the Renegades of Puck will also be jumping in the trenches.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
UC Saros was 26 out of 29 in this game, and all 3 goals against were going to be tough for any goalie. There was a snipe, a redirect at the top of the crease, and a 5-star stick handle in the slot area. Now listen, I'm not saying that UC Saros doesn't sometimes stop some of these goals, but that's because he's otherworldly. He's been a Vezina finalist before. But on this particular night, I felt like all 3 of these goals were fairly worthy, and I just felt like kind of the Vancouver Canucks had UC Saros' number with 3 absolutely perfect shots. Not the heaviest workload, and I'm sure if you ask UC Saros, he'd probably want to have something back. But overall, in my analysis on all 3 of these goals, I mean, that was some pretty special offensive scoring by the Vancouver Canucks. You got to give them the stick taps when they deserve it. Now, talking about stick taps, Luke Evangelista, first 2 goals. And listen, I've already started giving some of the analysis because I'm so excited to see what this player can do. It's not just the 2 goals that he had in this game. He also had 6 shots on net, and he also had a shootout attempt. He did not score in the shootout attempt, but 6 shots on goal for the Nashville Predators, and the 2 goals that he did score, both coming with the jam, a rebound and a tip-in. That means going to the hard areas and earning those greasy goals. Luke Evangelista, certainly a story to tell, as he helped his team, the Nashville Predators, come back from down 2 goals in the third period and secure a point. And at the end of the season, if that 1 point ends up being incredibly important in the standings or in draft order even, well, Luke Evangelista will add to that story and the significance of his first night. He is a dynamic player, and that was a dynamic performance in every way, and I'm so happy the Nashville Predators are going to have him down the stretch of the rest of the season. I've already alluded to it once. I cannot wait to see what he can accomplish in Milwaukee when it comes to the Calder Cup playoffs, because I think that the Milwaukee Admirals are going to make a significant run. And as a matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and say it right now. Because of all of the impact and because of all the importance and the direction the team is moving in, everyone associated with the Milwaukee Admirals suddenly is extremely important to what we are doing covering the Nashville Predators. Therefore, when it comes time for the AHL playoffs and down the stretch of the season, we will continue adding more and more Admirals coverage right here. Talking about Askarov, talking about Evangelista, talking about all of these significant young prospects and players for the Nashville Predators. That is going to be a tremendous amount of fun. So for Luke Evangelista, it was his night. All over the place in the third period, making things happen. You know, I also wanted to point out Barrie. When Barrie was acquired in the Ekholm trade, it was theorized by me that perhaps Barrie was here just for a moment, that he would be traded because of the significant value that he brings. That significant value is now transferred to the Nashville Predators for the remainder of this season and for 1 more year if they do not make a move with him at the draft or any time before that. Barrie, so far, is fitting in very nicely. He and Roman Josi are quarterback 1A, 1B of the power play units, and to have a second option like Barry out there. It's really impressive. I picked up an assist in this game. He had 5 shots on goal and truly just generates offense on a consistent basis. Yes, you can look at his stat line and see that he generates offense on a consistent basis, but you watch him out there shift after shift. He goes to hard areas. He crashes the net. He puts the puck in really good areas for other players to get opportunities. I've just been very impressed with what I've seen from him so far, and again, another player I look to continue watching as part of the top 4D moving forward. It's hard not to think that if Barry is a part of this team next year, Yossi and Carrier and Barry and McDonough, that's a pretty good, and Fabro, of course, is just re-signed, and Luzon is already signed. That's not a bad decor going into next year, and you could possibly be looking to make more upgrades. There's more defenseman talk coming up right here, but I thought Barry deserved a little bit of extra talk right here because just a really good addition to this current team and going to help them out a lot down the final games of the season. Luzon picked up 2 assists and had 2 hits in this game. Got to point out when Jeremy Luzon ends up with 2 assists in the game. He's always bringing the physical play, and he's usually out there involved in the middle of a lot of things. This time, 2 assists in the game. Good to see. We'll always point that out. The captain, Roman Yossi, how do you not mention? It's 29:02 in time on ice. He's otherworldly. He's incredible. He's one of the best defensemen in the game today, and he does it all. No points, but a constant factor in this game. Some of the passes that he delivered in this game and some of the effect that he had on other plays, just otherworldly. The way he does an absolute razzle-dazzle spin pass in high, heavy traffic as if it's absolutely nothing. He does it night in and night out. It's easy to get desensitized after watching him for so long, but I find myself never truly underappreciating what he can do. He is an otherworldly player out there on the ice and skated 29:02 out there to help lead his club at least to 1 point. Sean C. Smith is in the trenches. He's got some analysis on that game last night between the Nashville Preds and the Vancouver Canucks from A to Z Sports. You can find him on Twitter at SCSNSH, and you can watch him right now on Renegades of Puck TV.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean Smith, and we're going to talk, before we mention anything about the Predators' overtime loss to the Canucks, I want to talk about something else. And I tweeted about this yesterday. It really caught my attention. I was really surprised. There was an article that came out, and I've got, if you want to go to SCSNSH and check it out, I quote tweeted it, and I took a couple of screenshots. And the article was about the top 5 waiver pickups over the course of this season in the NHL. Now, unsurprisingly, there were 2 of the 5 that were pickups by teams that picked up players that were waived by the Predators. And of course, the third best overall pickup was one that I really think flew under the radar a little bit. And that was the pickup of goalie Connor Ingram at the beginning of the season after the Predators waived him upon returning from the Global Series. Now, what's interesting was that a lot of people said, you know what, good for Connor Ingram, let him go, let him get some NHL time. He wasn't going to get it here, and they found a great backup in Lankinen. There didn't seem to be a ton of outrage at that time, but of course you have to keep in mind the context. The Predators are coming back from just absolutely dominating in Europe. They came back with a team that seemed to feature a lot of upgraded weapons. You had Nino Niederreiter was added to the crew. He scored some goals, and everybody was pretty excited about that. The Preds were 2-0 to start the season. Kiefer Sherwood had put on a big performance overseas. It was a good time to be a Predators fan. There was a lot of hope for the season. It seemed like the improvements that David Poile had made in the offseason were going to have a big impact on the ice. Now, what's interesting about this is that they waived Connor Ingram. Now, Connor Ingram was acquired in a trade for a 7th-round draft pick. I think he paid off to be a lot more than a 7th-round draft pick, and I think he's continued to pay off. But that was number three on the best waiver wire pickups of the season. And, of course, it didn't draw big outrage. I think it was circumstantial, situational. It happened at the exact right time, kind of flying under the radar without drawing a lot of attention. But the number 1 overall waiver pickup, Eli Tolvanen, picked up by the Seattle Kraken back in December after the Predators decided to cut bait for whatever reason and let that go. That one did not go over so well. There was a lot of outrage, and it wasn't just outrage from a few fans that decided to be angry. that are always angry. It was people who typically have very calm and level-headed responses to things. People like me. It didn't make a lot of sense. People like I'd say Crazy Charlie, even as crazy as he could be, still doesn't get outraged at stuff unless it's worth being upset about. And it was upset about Ellie Tolvanen being waived. And what's interesting is that if I had, quote, tweeted that and put those two little blurbs out there showing that the number 1 and number 3 overall waiver pickups of the season were both from the Predators, there would have been, 2 weeks ago, chaos. Chaos would have reigned. People would have been calling for David Poyle's job, for John Hines' job. They probably would have mentioned that Roman Josi was a bad captain or something like that. They might have called for my job. I don't know. People would have been mad. There would have been pedal taverns turned over in the streets and set ablaze. Well, for whatever reason, when I quote tweeted this yesterday, hardly drew a bat of an eyelash from anyone. Some people were like, oh, well, yep, that happened. People have, since the news of David Poyle retiring and Barry Trotz's hiring, really, really, really kind of flipped a switch to where they are now not as outraged. They're not as mad about things. They're willing to move on. And I think that's what's interesting, is that as much as they were angry, they've been just as willing to move on now that change is happening. And you're starting to see things happen that a lot of people have been asking to happen. They've been begging for. They've been clamoring for. Let's see the kids play, is what a lot of people have said. If you recall back to when David Poyle teased the youth movement that never happened, the competitive rebuild that wasn't, and now this is I'm not sure how they're branding this, honestly. There have been so many different things, I can't remember. But it's not a rebuild. It's a reset, I guess is what they're saying. You're starting to see that play out. And I'll tell you a couple of the things that I like. I'm going to be positive and tell you some things that I like. What I liked about the Predators in their defeat by the Vancouver Canucks, first off, and it's not just last night, but the games before that, Luke Evangelista, he's getting the job done. He's making things exciting. Now, what's interesting is you've seen flashes of other players as well, putting on a good show, scoring goals, playing fast, looking good. Maybe they don't have the hair that Evangelista has. Boy's got a fine head of hair. But here's the thing. Now that you've got some of these other players out of the way, either because they've been traded like Granlund and Niederreiter or because they're injured like Forsberg and Johansson, you're getting a real long look, a real good hard look at some top-line minutes from some guys like Luke Evangelista, Cody Glass, Tommy Novak, Philip Tomasino, although he's day-to-day. But you're getting a chance to see the kids play. And I think people like what they see. I like what I see out of Luke Evangelista. I've liked what I've seen out of Tommy Novak. I like what I'm seeing out of Philip Tomasino. There's so many new names to talk about that you kind of run out of time. But the cold, hard reality is that people seem to be willing to embrace this reset. And I think that if you can avoid the idea here that the team is going to tank or intentionally be bad for the rest of the season to try to gain access to a unnamed number 1 draft pick overall, I think that the team has a chance to start a rebuild a few steps ahead. And I think that's kind of what you want to see. You're seeing guys go out and make a name for themselves and try to maintain a roster spot because there are a lot that are open right now. And they've cleared up some cap space. They have some room to play around with next season to bring in some short-term deals to not break the bank or get locked into big contracts. And I think that's what people are wanting to see. But I like what I've seen from Luke Evangelista. The other person, and this is big news to me, Tyson Barrie. A lot of people said when they heard that he was part of the return package for Matthias Ekholm that they expected him to be flipped. When we talked to David Poyle told us that he liked what Tyson Barrie was able to bring to the table with Edmonton's power play, scoring a lot of points, goals, assists, what have you, as a part of the power play unit. And a lot of people said, oh yeah, but Connor McDavid's on that power play unit. Maybe it's not really Tyson Barrie. But Tyson Barrie, since I'm going to keep saying his full name. Think about that. Tyson Barrie, since he's been here, has been getting to the net. And realistically, Evangelista's second goal last night was really just a tip in off of a great shot by Barrie. And that's maybe it would have been stopped, but the guy's got a nose for the net, and I think that's what's important, is that you're seeing a defender that can come in and make some offensive noise. And really, outside of Roman Josi, that wasn't happening too much in Nashville. You think about a team that for a very long time has had their scoring kind of driven through the defense. It's very exciting to see another defender finally getting back in on the action. So, all that being said, there's a lot to be excited about. Sure, the Predators only came away with 1 point last night, but big deal. I'm going to be honest with you. Alex Doherty and I talked on our On the Preds podcast over at A to Z Sports about how realistically the Preds had a better chance of making the playoffs than they do at tanking and getting the number 1 overall draft pick. But at the same time, it's still a pretty big leap to assume they're going to make the playoffs. Doesn't mean they shouldn't try. And as long as they're out there giving their all, I think you're going to have an enjoyable time watching this team for the rest of the season, getting used to what some of these players can bring to the table and getting a preview of what it's going to be like next season when Barry Trotz, not David Poile, has a chance to add some pieces to improve his team and get things going for the next generation of Smashville. Charlie, that's about all I have. Renegades, I hope you don't realize that Brian is too big of an idiot here coming up. A little bit of a preview for you. But, Charlie, I'm going to send it back over to you.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business. And that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions. Taking a look inside the box score and the numbers, the easiest stat line to point out is Luke Evangelista. Again, the third period was all about Luke. 2 goals in the game, and he also had 6 shots on goal. The 2 goals and the 6 shots both lead the Nashville Predators in those respective categories. Colton Sissons also chips in with a goal. Let's not forget about Colton Sissons and his recent offensive surge. Make sure you give credit to that. On the assist side of things, Luzon led the team in assists with 2. Also, Barry chips in with 1. Smith, Sherwood also with assists in this game. Shots on goal, I've already let the cat out of the bag on that one. Evangelista, 6 shots on goal, but Barry also with 5 shots on goal. Again, he was involved in generating offense all night long. Evangelista and Barry were the 2 most commonly heard names on that entire broadcast. In the block shots category, 2 led the way. 1 on the forward side, Jankowski and Fabro on the defensive side of things. And when it comes to hits, it was Sherwood with 6 in this game. Nobody else on the Predators even close. Sissons with 3, and sparse throughout the rest of the lineup as far as the physical play. Not the most physical game, other than that sudden and very abrupt Cole Smith fight that happened there during the game. Time on ice leaders, Matt Duchene, 21:53 in time on ice in this game. McCarron back with the Preds, 9:28 in time on ice. That was the least amount skated forwards. Asplund also at 10:01 in time on ice, the second least amount skated from the forwards. When it comes to the defensemen, a lot of minutes here. 29:02 for the captain, Roman Josi. But I also want to point out that Barry skated 22:03, McDonough 22:26, and Fabro 20:47 in this game. That is a ton of minutes against a really skilled young Vancouver Canucks team that, while they may be in a similar situation to the Nashville Predators, they were not going away, and they were competing very hard in this game. UC Saros, again, we mentioned it, 26 out of 29, not the heaviest workload, but those 3 goals, the Vancouver Canucks just seem to have UC Saros' number in this particular game. So he gives up 3, but manages to keep the Preds in it through the late stages of the game and through the overtime session, especially. That overtime session cannot be overlooked. That was really big by UC Saros right there. So that takes care of the box score, but running the Renegade Analytics desk is the one and only Brian Bass. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Bass, and you can catch his work at ontheforecheck.com, and you can watch him right now on Renegades of Puck TV. Brian, it's all yours.
What's up, Smashville? This is Brian Basson again, and you might be wondering why you're seeing me for a second time in today's episode of the Renegades of Puck. Well, we are not here today at the Renegades Analytics desk. We are at the Brian made a very stupid mistake desk, and since this might be probably the first, public episode of this, let's dig into it. So, guess who has two thumbs and said that Luke Evangelista was the only Predators player to score two of his goals in the same game? This guy. I don't know why, don't know how. I even talked about Alex's tweet where he clearly mentioned that Jordan Gross also did it, also against Vancouver earlier in the season. So don't say that, I don't admit my mistakes. Yes, it did take a very observant, or maybe just somebody with eyes, a Twitter user, Justin Trapp on Twitter. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that, but yeah, I figured to show you that I'm human, and you're actually seeing pretty much what it's like all the time before I delete tweets and redo them, things like that. So yeah, Jordan Gross, my apologies. You were the man first. You should have Evangelista buy you dinner or something because you did it first, and you were the first person in franchise history to do it. So that's my bad. And that's been Brian is an Idiot Desk, and back to you, Charlie.
I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, captain of the Renegades of Puck. I'm also tired of the cold, tired of the dark, and tired of being landlocked. I'm also willing to bet that I'm not the only one who could use some sun, fun, and time in paradise with friends. That's exactly why I called our great friend Pete Weber. He told me, call Ships and Trips Travel, and now we're all going to Mexico. That's right, Renegades of Puck, July 15th to the 20th of 2023. Dreams Vallarta Resort in Puerto Vallarta is the destination to hang with Pete Weber in paradise. To join Pete and the Renegades of Puck in Puerto Vallarta, go to www.shipsandtripstravel.com. That's shipsandtripstravel.com, and just click on the ROP on vacation tab. Don't stay landlocked. Join the Renegades of Puck in paradise, July 15th to the 20th, 2023 in Puerto Vallarta. Pete Weber, the Renegades of Puck, and you. It's time to ditch those skates for flip-flops and fun in the sun. Quick update on the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. I've not talked about the team very much so far. It's because we are deep into training camp. After the first 2 weeks of stress tests, we decided it was time to pull back and put in a full 10-week training camp. We're just 2 weeks into it, but I got to tell you, the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club is starting to develop, starting to show some chemistry, and it's incredible. We just met nearly 6 weeks ago, and we're already starting to come together. We're starting to have more awareness on the ice of where each other is going to be. And I've got to just mention a couple of the Renegades of Puck that are working so hard in training camp and really, really putting in the time. Got to mention my man Skip. Skip is really, truly a true rookie and putting in the effort, putting in the work. He's out there, extra drills, extra passing, and I love it. It's inspiring me. It's inspiring the rest of the club, and it's exactly why Skip was the player I wanted to sign for the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club as soon as we started this thing. Ben Brenton has been a revelation on the D-core. I cannot express to you how much I like having Ben in the room, on the bench, and out there on the ice. He's a calming force. He's a steady guy, and I truly, truly enjoy playing beside him. Great hockey player. Truly, really, really good hockey player. You're going to hear a lot of things about Ben Brenton on this here show. There's several other players that I absolutely want to mention. Zach McCann. Zach McCann has so far, in the absence of my leadership group who have been out injured for training camp at the beginning of this season, Zach McCann has stepped up and been essentially an assistant captain without an A, and he has just been so great with his enthusiasm, and everybody has. I can keep going down the list. Brad Bartlett, Bryce Levette, TJ Nielsen, every one of these guys. Kyle Woodall, Kyle Helander, the Kyles. I don't usually call them Kyle because I have Helander and I have Woodall, so I typically call them by their last names. I don't have a lot of nicknames for the fellows, but I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be a part of it, and we're working hard, and we're learning how to play the game together, and we're learning how to play the right way, and I think you're going to hear a lot of things about the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club coming up forward. Myself, I've been experimenting playing defense. I've been carrying the puck more. I've been trying to work on the little things, and I've been trying to focus more on getting back to just playing hockey. I put so much time and effort into the organizational side of things that I lost sight of what this is truly all about. Having fun playing hockey with my friends. We're doing that in training camp. We're having a great time, and I can't wait to start showing you guys some pictures and some videos of all the things that we're accomplishing out there. I hope you're following along with the story on social media. Listen, it ain't a Disney movie. It's a lot closer to Slapshot, and one day when we can finally tell you guys the true and real story of how everything has happened over the first 6 weeks of the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club, it's going to be incredible. We look good. We're having fun. We're catching beers after the game. As a matter of fact, we even hung out with Cody Bass last night. Is that a good name to drop? It is for me. It's fun hanging out with some of those guys. It's a lot of fun. Playing hockey is truly, truly a great treat. After having several very bad days and receiving a lot of bad news, getting some ice therapy, getting out there on the ice, seeing Yuri, seeing the fellas, that's how I get my escape. And I hope that each and every one of you continue following along with the Renegades of Puck Hockey Club. Now, to close out the show, as far as the Nashville Predators go, they need to just keep up business. Keep taking care of business. This road trip could have been the grinder that finished the season off, but with the changes, the Nashville Predators have a new sense of purpose, a new enthusiasm, and they are hanging right in there in the playoff race. Whether it's the wild card or it is not unreasonable to think that they are within reach in the Central Division. They have 3 games in hand over the Winnipeg Jets, and they are 6 points behind the Winnipeg Jets, and they have head-to-head matchups. Am I saying that the Predators are going to catch the Winnipeg Jets and finish third in the Central Division? Absolutely not. What I'm telling you, though, is where we are right now with 21 games to go in the season, 3 games in hand, and 6 points behind an automatic qualifying playoff spot. The Nashville Predators are certainly not out of it. Turn Luke Evangelista loose the rest of the way, and who knows where the Preds can find themselves. And as far as the draft and tanking and all of those things are concerned, let me put your mind at ease. Yes, if the Nashville Predators ultimately make the playoffs, that does diminish where they will draft. But they have so many draft picks from so many teams that they are going to be drafting all over the place. And if necessary, and I would actually advise, the Nashville Predators still have several players and a ton of draft capital. The draft is here in Nashville. If the Predators truly wanted to make a splash, they could make whatever splash they wanted to make. They can make it happen. So for the Preds, the results over the next 21 games should be all about encouraging the youth, following along, and hoping they gain the valuable experience to make them a more competitive team and squad going into next season, as opposed to coming into next season cold and having to go through the growing pains. This 30-game stretch to end the season for the Nashville Predators, after changing GM and making the deals that they have made, this could be the most significant time in Nashville Predators franchise history, with the most important training camp in the 25 years of this franchise coming up this next summer. The Milwaukee Admirals are on a tear and look to make a run. The Nashville Predators are rebuilding in a quicker way than anybody thought possible. So for the Nashville Predators on the ice, you keep taking care of business. Management has already all but assured you won't make the playoffs by jettisoning most of your leading scorers on the season. It was necessary, and for the Preds, if they make it now, everyone should be excited about it because everyone loves an underdog, and this Preds team is absolutely the underdogs. That's going to do it for operation number 725. We sure do appreciate every one of you checking in with the show. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your viewership. And most importantly, we appreciate you. 725 episodes. How many other organizations could manage to be in the trenches grinding it out for 725 episodes? And if you think I'm anywhere near done, you had better recalibrate, because I am just marching towards 1,000 as quickly as I possibly can, and I'm going to keep going on and on from there. You will never get rid of me, and I will never go away. I have my own operation now, and you cannot stop me. Stick taps, love, and respect.